In a peaceful village hidden between rolling hills, there lived a boy named Samar. Samar had always admired the great leaders, artists, and wise elders who seemed to rise above the ordinary. He believed that success was something rare, granted only to a lucky few. Deep inside, though, he wished to grow into someone who could make a difference, someone who could build a life filled with meaning and purpose. He spent years waiting for a magical moment, a sudden transformation that would catapult him to greatness. But the days passed quietly, and nothing seemed to change. Samar began to wonder if he simply wasn't meant for more. What he didn't realize was that personal growth is not the result of a single moment of luck or talent. It is the patient accumulation of small, deliberate habits, the golden rules that shape a life not all at once, but one quiet step at a time. One day, feeling restless, Samar visited an old teacher who was known for his wisdom and calm presence. The teacher listened quietly as Samar shared his frustrations about wanting to grow but feeling stuck. After a long silence, the teacher handed him a small notebook and said, "Fill this with habits, not dreams." Seeing Samar's confused expression, the teacher explained, "Dreams inspire you, but habits shape you. If you want to grow beyond your limits, you must follow certain golden rules every day without fail." He continued, "Wake up before the world demands your attention. Focus on learning something new every single day. Treat discipline as a friend, not an enemy. Reflect every evening on how you lived your day. And most importantly, never let a single day pass without planting a small seed for tomorrow." These words settled deep into Samar's heart. He realized growth was not a mysterious force. It was built, slowly and steadily, by honoring small commitments daily. Commitments so simple that most people ignored them, but powerful enough to transform a life when practiced faithfully. If this story is resonating with you, take a deep breath and keep listening, because what comes next might just change the way you see your own life. The next morning, Samar opened the notebook and began with his first small habit, waking up before the sun. It was harder than he expected. His body protested, his mind begged for more sleep. But he remembered the teacher's words. Growth comes not from comfort, but from consistency. Day after day, Samar forced himself out of bed, even when no one was watching. Once awake, he gave himself a simple task: read for 15 minutes, learn one new idea, and write one reflection. It seemed small, almost insignificant. But over time, these tiny moments began to accumulate. His mind grew sharper, his thoughts clearer, his focus deeper. Samar discovered another golden rule. Excellence is built when no one is clapping, when no one is watching, when you show up for yourself because you believe in your own unseen potential. The excitement faded after a few weeks, but by then discipline had taken root. He realized that success habits were not glamorous. They were often boring, repetitive, and invisible. Yet they were building something powerful inside him, a quiet, steady fire that no one could extinguish. As the months passed, Samar's quiet commitment began to reshape his life in ways he had never imagined. He no longer waited for motivation to strike. His days were built around structure, not emotion. Even on days when he felt tired or uninspired, he honored his habits. He learned another golden rule: consistency beats intensity. It was not about massive efforts once in a while. It was about small, steady steps, repeated faithfully. Samar's mind became sharper, more focused. His conversations grew deeper because he listened with full attention. His projects gained momentum because he no longer abandoned them midway. People around him began to notice the changes. They asked what his secret was, expecting some extraordinary technique. But Samar knew there was no secret. There were only the golden rules he chose to follow each day, habits that shaped his character when no one was looking. He realized that unlimited personal growth wasn't about chasing more. It was about mastering the simple, essential disciplines that most people overlook because they seem too small to matter. Samar's journey continued, not with grand victories, but with quiet triumphs stacked one on top of another. He found that another golden rule emerged naturally. Measure your life by your efforts, not just your outcomes. Some days the results were visible, and some days they weren't. But what mattered was that he showed up, gave his best, and honored the process. Success was no longer a finish line somewhere in the future. It was the life he lived every day, full of intention, discipline, and quiet pride. He also learned that setbacks were not signs of failure. They were signs of growth, proof that he was stretching beyond his comfort. When others quit after the excitement faded, Samar kept moving forward, fueled by habits too deeply rooted to abandon. He understood now that personal growth was not something that happened to you. It was something you built, one decision at a time, until your daily actions carved out a future stronger than any dream. His mind, once restless and impatient, had become calm and determined, a mind shaped by the invisible work that greatness demands. Years later, as Samar sat on a quiet hill overlooking the village, he reflected on his journey. There were no crowds cheering, no flashing lights announcing his success. But inside, he knew he had built something far more valuable than fame or fortune. He had built himself. His strength wasn't loud, but it was real. His achievements weren't accidents. They were the natural result of the golden rules he had chosen to live by. Samar realized that unlimited growth wasn't a gift reserved for a few. It was available to anyone willing to honor the small disciplines, to show up without excuses, to stay steady when others gave up. He understood now that the greatest transformation doesn't come from chasing more. It comes from mastering the simple things with extraordinary commitment. His story wasn't about sudden greatness. It was about patient greatness, quietly built day after day. And now, ask yourself, are you still waiting for life to change by itself? Or are you ready to build the habits today that will shape the future you dream of?